Sometimes, the smallest words carry the heaviest weight, and sometimes, a quiet request, almost whispered, can crack open a heart that success has sealed shut. This is the kind of story that doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention, it simply waits, and then reminds us that kindness can change lives in ways money never could. Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that touch the heart and remind us of the good still left in this world, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and comment below. This is Heartfelt Moments, where real emotions and meaningful stories come together. Your support helps us share more stories like this. The CEO's name was Daniel Harper, and in the business world, his name carried weight. He was known for sharp decisions, faster deals, and a calendar booked months in advance. People described him as successful, driven, and efficient. Kind wasn't a word often used. Daniel believed emotions slowed people down. He trusted numbers, not feelings. After years of building his company from nothing, he'd trained himself to stay guarded. Life, he thought, rewarded strength, not softness. One cold December afternoon, Daniel stopped by a small neighborhood grocery store near his office. His assistant was sick, his day was already behind schedule, and patience wasn't something he had much of left. That's when he noticed her. She stood near the checkout line, holding a small basket. Inside were basics: bread, milk, a pack of pasta, and a few apples. Nothing extra. Nothing indulgent. Just enough to get by. She looked tired. Not the kind of tired sleep could fix, but the deep, quiet exhaustion of someone carrying too much alone. Her coat was thin for the weather, her hair pulled back quickly, as if she hadn't had time to think about it. Behind her, a little boy no older than 6 held her hand. He was bundled up, eyes bright, smiling at everything around him like the world was still full of magic. At the register, the cashier scanned the items and named the total. The woman froze. Her smile faded just a little. She reached into her wallet and counted slowly. 1 bill. Another. Coins. She stopped, looked up gently, and said in a soft voice, "I'm sorry. Can you please take off the apples? I don't need much." Those words landed heavier than anything Daniel had heard all day. "I don't need much." The cashier nodded, already reaching for the apples. The boy looked up at his mom, confused, then back at the apples being removed. He didn't complain. He just squeezed her hand a little tighter. Something shifted inside Daniel. He wasn't sure what it was: guilt, maybe, or memory. He remembered his own childhood, watching his mother quietly sacrifice, saying she wasn't hungry so he could eat, before he could overthink it. Daniel stepped forward. "Please," he said, surprising even himself, "keep the apples. Add whatever else you need." The woman turned, startled. Her eyes widened as she shook her head politely. "No, really. We're fine. I don't need much." Daniel smiled, gently but firmly. Sometimes needing a little doesn't mean you don't deserve more. The cashier resumed scanning, adding the apples back. The total climbed, but Daniel didn't notice the number. He only noticed the woman's eyes filling with tears. She tried hard to hold back. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know what this means." Daniel paid and left before it could become awkward. He told himself it was a small thing. A few dollars. Nothing that mattered, but it did matter. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. Those words echoed in his mind. "I don't need much." He realized how often he'd heard people say that, not because they didn't need more, but because they were used to being denied. A week later, Daniel returned to the same store. This time, he waited. When the woman appeared again, he followed at a distance. He watched her choose carefully, checking prices, putting items back. Always calculating. Always cautious. After checkout, he introduced himself properly. Her name was Sarah. Over coffee at the store's small counter, Sarah shared her story. She was a single mom. Her husband had passed away 3 years earlier. Medical bills had drained their savings. She worked 2 part-time jobs while raising her son, Ethan. She never asked for help. Pride wasn't the word, it was survival. "I just want enough," she said. Enough to keep him safe. Enough to get through the week. Daniel listened. Really listened. Something he rarely did anymore. The next day, he had his legal team quietly set up a fund. No press, no announcements. It covered Sarah's rent for a year, paid off her medical debt, and secured after-school care for Ethan. When he told her, she cried, not because of the money, but because someone had seen her. "You changed our lives," she said. Daniel shook his head. "No," he replied softly. "You changed mine." Months passed. Daniel found himself changing. He started learning names, listening more, donating time, not just money. He realized kindness wasn't weakness, it was courage. Years later, when asked what moment changed him most, he didn't mention business deals or awards. He talked about a grocery store. A single mom, and 4 simple words: "I don't need much." Because sometimes, the smallest request opens the biggest hearts, and if this story reminds us of anything, it's this: kindness doesn't need to be loud or grand. It just needs to be real. May we all listen a little closer, give a little more, and remember, sometimes, we can be the reason someone's life changes forever.